Pew Research released an extensive poll on how the American people respond to the use of torture in their name. And the poll is ugly and very disappointing and very disheartening. So first of all, let's take a look at the first part here. More people say that the CIA's interrogation methods were justified than unjustified. 51% of the American people say torture is justified. Only 29% say not justified, and 20% say, I don't know. When they ask the question, I love this one because it's just factually incorrect. When they ask the question, did it provide intelligence that prevented terrorist attacks? 56% of the American people say, yes, it did, absolutely. Only 28% say no, it didn't, and 16% said, I don't know. But remember, the CIA report itself says, we know that this got absolutely no intelligence. We know. We looked through all the documents. There's no evidence that it provided any intelligence. In fact, the only things we got was false information from Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. They waterboarded him 183 times, and he ended up admitting to things he didn't do. So it's a fact that it didn't provide any real intelligence, but 56% of the American people go, no, yeah, I think it did. Well, what the fuck? Why don't you read before you talk? No, it's amazing, man. Okay, next, they say, the decision to release the Senate committee report was 42% say the right decision, 43% say the wrong decision. So more say it was the wrong decision for the American people to learn what was done in their name, torture that was done in their name with their tax dollars. More people said, yeah, no, we shouldn't even know about it. God, 43% of Americans do not know the heart of what America is supposed to be and do not understand how this country and the Constitution works. They want to live under a fascist government, apparently. Now let's look at the next one here. Were CIA interrogation methods following 9/11 justified? They break it down for men and women and different racial groups and different age groups. Men, 57% say it was justified. Women, only 46% say it was justified. But I should mention that's still more than the 30% that said it's not justified. 57% of white people say it was justified. 42% of black people say it was justified. 43% of Hispanics say it was justified. When it comes to the age groups, young people, age 18 to 29, were the most likely to say it wasn't justified, but still it was 44 say it's justified to 36 say it's not justified. When you look at the oldest group, they're the most in favor of torture. 62% of people age 65 and older say, yes, it's justified. They're scared, they're old, they don't give a fuck anymore as long as it's not them being tortured. They're like, fuck it, I don't care, torture people. Do these idiots know that the people, at least 25% of the people were innocent? But over half of the American people overall were like, yeah, fuck it, I don't care, torture with my money in my name, I don't give a shit. And then guess what? When the next terrorist attack happens, and they say this is because our people were tortured, Muslims were tortured, and innocent Muslims were killed overseas, what are the American people going to do? They're not going to fucking understand it. They're not going to know what the fuck they're talking about. They're just going to want to take away more civil liberties and do more torture because they're uneducated idiots. And by the way, a lot of this is the fault of the media, and I'm going to get to that in a second. Now, furthermore, no surprise here, liberal Democrats were more critical of CIA interrogations than other Democrats. 25% of liberals say the torture was justified. 65% say not justified. I don't know where the fuck that 25% came from, but I'm certainly more proud of my group than anybody else because their numbers are the best. Conservatives and moderates, look at these jackasses. 48% say torture was justified, 32% say it wasn't. Provided intelligence that prevented terrorist attacks. 35% of liberals say it did. Remember, it's a fact that it didn't. 53% of conservatives and moderates say it did. Remember, it's a fact that it didn't. And of course, 71% of liberals say the report should have been released. 48% of liberals say it was... 48%, of conservatives say it should have been released. So, look at the country that we live in, man. Everybody wants to give their opinion. Everybody wants to be heard when they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. A lot of these questions were questions of fact. Hey, did this prevent terrorist attacks? People go, yes, it did. But wait a second. There's an empirical reality to that. Either it did or it didn't. Well, let's look at the data. The data says it didn't prevent a terrorist attack. But people go, oh, no, I don't care. I think it did. But it didn't. It doesn't matter what the fuck you think. You're giving your opinion on a factual issue. Which leads to my final point. The media in the United States of America is absolutely pathetic. This reflects on the media over anything else. Every single newspaper, every single media outlet from MSNBC to Fox News to CNN to the nightly news, not only should they have given the details of the torture report, which many of them didn't, by the way, they didn't really dive into the nuance on the detail, but furthermore, they should have made clear this is unconstitutional, this is against the Geneva Conventions, this is against the Nuremberg Tribunal, this is against international law, and it didn't work. The main finding of the report was it didn't work, it didn't work, it didn't work, and we tortured innocent people. If the media did that, do you think that the numbers would be like this? No. There's no way. The media drives the narrative in the United States of America. It drives the narrative. They release their opinion. The population that watches hears their opinion. They go share it with everybody else. Word of mouth spreads, and then you get this general consensus that follows as a result of it. The numbers would be much better if the media did their job. You know what this reminds me of? Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein having a connection to 9/11 during the Bush administration when they kept saying that over and over, even though we learned it was factually incorrect. But the media did not clarify, did not fact check, did not hammer it home when they learned the truth. They hid it in page 13 of the newspaper in the corner. So what happened? To this day, people still think Saddam Hussein was connected to 9/11. The media is a pathetic failure, and the American people should be embarrassed by these poll results.